Hear me now. Do not allow your mind to wander or your heart to grow distracted, for this is not an ordinary message written in ink or carried by the voice of men. This is a trumpet call sent from the heavens, sounding through the veil of time and space, delivered to you in this exact moment because eternity saw what was about to unfold in your life. Archangel Michael speaks, and when he speaks, it is not in whispers of suggestion but in the commanding echo of truth and warning. You may wonder, why now? Why me? Because the hour has arrived. Because there is no more space for delay. Because something hidden, a dark truth buried in shadows, is rising to the surface. It concerns not strangers, but those closest to your heart. The ones you call loved ones. The ones you would defend, protect, and sacrifice for. The Spirit has marked this time to uncover what has been concealed, and unless you prepare yourself, the shock of it will bring tears, anguish, and trembling to your very soul. This trumpet call is not meant to destroy you but to awaken you. It is not sent to terrify you but to rouse you from the lull of false peace. Imagine a soldier in the camp who sleeps while an enemy army gathers at the gates. The trumpet sounds, not because the sound itself saves, but because it shakes the soldier awake in time to take up sword and shield. That is why these words press upon you now, to shake you, to stir you, to remind you that what is hidden in darkness must come into the light, and when it does, you must be ready to face it. Do not dismiss this as mere imagination. Heaven wastes no breath. The angelic host does not stir without command. Michael, the captain of the armies of light, does not speak unless the matter bears eternal weight. He says, be alert. Be steadfast. Do not blink. What you are about to discover will test the foundations of your trust. But if you cling to truth, you will not collapse with the lie. The trumpet is sounding right now. You can almost feel it in your chest, as though the vibrations move through your spirit. Do not ignore it. Do not delay. Do not comfort yourself with the thought, perhaps it is not so urgent. Perhaps I can read later. For later may never come. This window is narrow. Heaven has placed it before you as a mercy, and mercy must be seized when it appears. Open your ears. Open your heart. Fix your eyes on what is being revealed. This trumpet call is your summons into readiness. The next moment will carry the weight of revelation, and the way you respond will determine whether you stand in the light or fall under the burden of darkness. There are moments in life when ignoring a whisper carries little consequence. You can overlook it and walk away unchanged. But there are other moments, divine moments, when silence is impossible, and to ignore the call is to invite sorrow that cannot be hidden. This is such a moment. Archangel Michael does not speak lightly. His words slice through the noise of the earth like a sword of fire. He comes not to flatter you, not to indulge your comforts, but to alert you of what lies immediately before you. Hear him clearly. If you turn away from this message, if you choose to harden your heart or delay your response, tears will overtake you. You will cry loudly, not in the privacy of your soul alone, but with a heaviness that spills into your life, shaking the peace you thought you had secured. Why? Because truth waits for no one. What has been concealed in the shadows concerning your loved ones is already stirring. Imagine a storm that has been gathering silently beyond the horizon. You do not see it, but the clouds have been forming, the winds have been tightening, the lightning has been flashing in places hidden from your eyes. To ignore this message is to remain on the shore, unaware, while the tempest rolls closer and closer until it finally strikes. The cry Michael speaks of is not a mild disappointment, not the kind of passing grief that comes when plans are delayed or expectations unmet. It is the cry that bursts from the depths of the soul when betrayal, deception, or broken trust is revealed. It is the cry of a heart that suddenly sees that what it thought was whole has been fractured all along. This is why you must not ignore the warning. Heaven in its mercy is preparing you now, so that when the storm arrives, you will not be swept away in confusion. Picture this, a family built on appearances, but behind the walls, secrets of addiction, unfaithfulness, or hidden bitterness fester. One day the veil rips apart, and the hidden truth stands bare. For those unprepared, the shock is unbearable, their very identity feels shaken. But for the one who heeds the trumpet, though tears may come, there is strength to stand, clarity to respond, and wisdom to rebuild. The difference is not in the presence or absence of truth, for truth always emerges, but in whether you were ready when it did. Ignoring this message will mean entering revelation without armor. You will feel as though the sword has cut you rather than cut the cords of deception around you. You will feel pierced rather than protected. But to heed the warning now is to step into the moment clothed in light. Yes, there may still be tears, but they will be cleansing tears, not the wails of devastation. Michael's voice trembles with urgency. Do not delay. Do not treat lightly the words given to you. The pain of ignorance is sharper than the pain of preparation. The one who closes their ears now will find their heart broken without remedy, but the one who listens and prepares will stand in truth and overcome. This is why you will cry if you ignore it, not because the message curses you, but because truth withheld no longer. Heaven has already decreed that the hidden will be revealed. The only choice you have is whether you will face it with readiness or be crushed by surprise. You stand at a forked path. One road is ignorance, leading to sorrow. The other is awareness, leading to strength. Which will you choose? Archangel Michael speaks again. Do not be surprised that the truth about those you love has been hidden until now. Darkness works in silence. Deception thrives in secrecy. What is about to be revealed is not meant to crush you, but to purify what you have built your life upon. Brace yourself, for what is hidden is rising. The dark truth does not always mean outright evil, though in some cases it can. It refers to the hidden matters of the heart and life that have been covered over, painted with smiles, or excused with silence. It may be a betrayal, a secret addiction, a double life, or a hidden wound that has been poisoning the atmosphere of your relationships. These truths lurk in the shadows because the enemy of your soul knows that what is hidden can control, while what is exposed loses its grip. Think carefully. How often have you sensed something was off? You noticed the unspoken tension, the hurried answers, the uneasy silence that wrapped itself around certain topics. Your spirit knew, but your mind pushed it aside, telling yourself it was imagination. Yet heaven saw. Michael now declares, what you suspected is not without foundation. The veil is tearing. The truth will no longer hide. Different forms the dark truth may take. 1. Betrayal of trust. Perhaps someone close has not been faithful to their word. A spouse, a friend, or even a child has stepped outside the bounds of honesty and loyalty. Their actions have painted a false picture, while behind closed doors, another story unfolds. When betrayal is exposed, the sting is sharp, because it cuts into the very covenant of love. 2. Secret struggles. A loved one may be battling addictions, destructive habits, or harmful relationships in silence. They have kept it hidden, thinking to protect you or themselves, but their silence has only allowed the chains to grow tighter. When this comes to light, it will feel overwhelming, but exposure is the beginning of freedom. 3. Financial or legal deception. Sometimes the truth is not about emotions but about actions that endanger stability, hidden debts, misused resources, or secret dealings. These may have been concealed to avoid conflict, but they will eventually affect everyone in the family. Heaven allows them to surface now before they collapse everything later. 4. Generational wounds. At times, the dark truth is not a recent betrayal but a family pattern, cycles of abuse, dishonesty, or spiritual compromise. These threads often weave silently through generations until someone, perhaps you, becomes the one chosen to break them. Michael reminds you, the revealing is painful, but the chain breaker must first see the chain. Why the truth hurts more when it's about loved ones. The deepest wounds are not cut by strangers but by those we trust. A stranger can deceive, but their betrayal passes quickly. When it is a spouse, a sibling, a parent, or a child, the pain is multiplied. You feel it not only in your mind but in your spirit, because the bond of love was designed to be sacred. That is why heaven warns you, not to avoid the revelation, but to prepare your heart so that when it comes, you do not collapse in despair. The purpose of the unveiling. Do not mistake this unveiling as cruelty. Heaven does not expose for the sake of humiliation, but for the sake of healing. A wound left covered festers until it poisons the whole body. When it is uncovered, though it stings, it can finally be cleansed. Michael says, better to feel the sharp cut of truth now than to suffer the slow death of deception later. The dark truth about your loved ones is coming into the light not because God desires your sorrow, but because He desires your freedom, and theirs. The chains that have bound your family cannot survive in the presence of truth. The light will reveal them, and though the revelation may cause tears, it will also release a power of deliverance that has been waiting for this very moment. How to receive without breaking. Anchor yourself now. Expect pain, but also expect purpose. When the words are spoken, when the evidence is shown, when the veil rips away, remind yourself, this is not the end, this is the beginning. This truth is not my enemy, it is my rescue. Michael stands ready with his sword, not to destroy your loved ones, but to cut away the lies that have bound them. He stands as your defender, so that when the dark truth emerges, you will not be consumed. Instead, you will stand as a witness of God's light breaking into the shadows. This is not the time for panic, it is the time for preparation. Michael's trumpet has sounded, not to terrify, but to arm you with wisdom and steadiness. Preparation is practical and spiritual. It makes you ready to receive truth without being consumed by it. Below are clear steps to take now so the revelation meets a heart that is sheltered, a household that is guarded, and a mind that is disciplined. 1. Create a sacred pause, 10 to 20 minutes. Find a quiet place where you will not be interrupted. Sit, breathe slowly, and allow your heart to settle. Declare aloud, I will stand steady. Repeat this pause twice daily until the window closes. This discipline trains your nervous system to respond with calm rather than panic. 2. Secure the vulnerable. Who in your household will be most harmed by exposure? Children, elderly parents, vulnerable adults. Put protective routines in place. Plan meals, arrange supervision, and keep familiar rhythms. Predictable routines reduce chaos when truth arrives. 3. Choose one trusted ally. Pick a person who is wise and discreet. Tell them, I may need you in the next 24 to 72 hours. Give them permission to check on you and to accompany you to hard conversations if necessary. Their presence will steady you. 4. Gather practical tools. Prepare a notebook or digital file for facts, dates, and communications. Charge your phone, back up documents, and copy critical papers. If finances or legal issues could arise, list contact numbers for a lawyer, counselor, or financial advisor so you can reach help quickly. 5. Set clear boundaries. Decide what you will not do in the first 72 hours. No public posts, no irreversible decisions, no immediate confrontations without a plan. Write these limits down and commit to them. Boundaries protect you from impulsive harm and preserve options for later repair or action. 6. Pray for discernment and resilience. Ask Archangel Michael and the Highest for clarity and a calm spirit. Use short prayers such as, Give me sight for truth and strength for the storm. Repeat when fear rises. Spiritual steadiness will accompany practical measures and steady your decision-making. 7. Prepare a basic safety kit. If sudden movement might be needed, prepare a small bag with essentials, IDs, keys, medications, a small cash reserve, and copies of critical documents. Keep it accessible so you can move with dignity if circumstances demand it. 8. Script your first words. Write a short phrase you will use when truth is revealed. Tell me the facts plainly now. I will listen, then we will decide next steps. Having scripted words reduces chaos and keeps the exchange focused on facts rather than immediate accusations. 9. Protect digital access. Change passwords for joint accounts if privacy or finances are at risk. Back up important files. Set up a secondary contact for advisors while you assess the situation so you are not forced to respond from a place of panic. 10. Anchor with small acts. Commit to 3 small disciplines for the week, a moment of silence each morning, 1 act of kindness each day, and an evening of gratitude. Small acts steady the spirit and remind you that truth and care can coexist even in hardship. Also, prepare yourself emotionally. Name the feelings you fear, anger, shame, sorrow, and decide now how you will let them move through you without dictating your actions. Commit to accountability, agree with your ally on check-in times, and set a simple method for decision-making so you avoid being overwhelmed by choices in the first days. Preparation is stewardship, not control. You cannot stop truth, but you can determine how you meet it. Michael's call is an invitation to stand steady, protect the vulnerable, and move with wisdom when the veil is torn. Do these now. The minutes you spend preparing will hold you when revelation arrives. Truth rarely arrives gently. It does not knock politely. It bursts through, unannounced, and demands your attention. In those first minutes after revelation, what you choose to do can either anchor you in strength or scatter you into chaos. Archangel Michael counsels this pathway, a series of steps to hold you steady when the weight of discovery presses hard against your soul. Do not let shock rule you. Stop, close your eyes, and take 3 deliberate breaths. Inhale peace, exhale panic. This short pause will prevent you from exploding in anger or collapsing in despair. Ground yourself in the truth. I am steady, I am guarded, I am not alone. If children or vulnerable loved ones are present, protect them from the emotional storm. Keep routines normal, prepare a meal, turn on music, or guide them into another room. Safety and stability must be preserved before you handle confrontation. This is not a burden to carry alone. Reach out to the trusted confidant you identified during preparation. Share only the essential facts. The truth has surfaced, I need your presence. Their steady perspective will help you process without collapsing under emotion. Silence your impulse to post, announce, or accuse. Do not send fiery texts or expose details online. Public reaction magnifies shame and burns bridges you may later need. Hold your words until they are measured. Truth must be built on evidence, not rumor. Collect messages, documents, receipts, or verbal confirmations. Write details in order, separating facts from feelings. This discipline guards you against manipulation and strengthens your standing should accountability be required. Save files, secure passwords, and back up important data. Make copies of critical records. Evidence may vanish quickly if ignored. Preserve it while it is fresh. Calmly declare what is acceptable and what is not. I need space. We will not involve the children. Or, this conversation must wait until tomorrow. Boundaries are shields, not walls. They protect you while you regain footing. Reach out to a professional suited to the nature of the truth. Legal, financial, or therapeutic. Their guidance will prevent costly mistakes and provide clarity for next steps. When strength has returned, engage the person involved with structure. Choose a safe location, allow your ally to witness if needed, and use calm, factual words. This is what I discovered. I need answers. Refuse to be baited by deflection or rage. Pray for wisdom. Eat, drink water, and rest. Walk outside and remind yourself of the world's steady rhythms. Healing begins when you remember life is larger than betrayal. The truth will sting, but you will not be undone. These steps are your map through the storm. With order, calm, and angelic presence at your side, you will pass through revelation not as a victim, but as one who stands in the light, unshaken. Archangel Michael stands not as a distant myth but as a present posture of heavenly force. Defender, discerner, divider of truth from deceit. When Michael is named in Scripture and in the tradition of the faithful, he appears as the one who takes up the sword where darkness encroaches and the one who stands in the breach when the walls tremble. In the hour of revelation, when hidden things come to light, his role is practical, surgical, and intimate. He is not an abstract promise. He is a strategy. First, Michael is your protector. Protection here is not merely about deflecting harm. It is about establishing a perimeter so that truth can surface without annihilating what can still be saved. Think of him raising a shielding barrier around the vulnerable parts of your life. Children, elders, finances, reputation, so that exposure does not become total ruin. Protection from Michael is calibrated. It does not prevent truth, but it modulates its entry so you can process and respond. In practical terms, this means the moment revelation breaks, you will find moments of inexplicable calm, clear instinctual steps, and timely allies crossing your path. Those are not coincidence. They are Michael's guard at work. Second, Michael is the discerner. Where muddy motives masquerade as goodness, Michael brings a blade of clarity. He helps separate motive from act, pattern from accident, and intent from consequence. This discernment is not always a private whisper. It can arrive through sudden understanding, a detail that organizes confusion into narrative, or a counseled voice that appears at the right minute to offer perspective. When you wrestle through the facts, you may discover that what felt like chaos has structure, and that structure reveals what must be addressed. Michael's gifting helps you see that structure without being paralyzed by it. Third, Michael acts as a divider, the one who separates that which will be preserved from that which must be removed. In spiritual terms, this is a surgical cut, removing rot so the healthy part of the body can live. Practically, you will find the courage to set limits, to remove access, to change passwords, to relocate, or to call professional help. Michael empowers those decisive acts so they are not just reactions but strategic dismantling of harm. His presence gives moral clarity. To hold someone accountable is not to destroy them but to prevent further destruction. Fourth, Michael is a midwife of healing. Once the chains of secrecy are cut and the dark truth is exposed, Michael's role moves toward restoration where possible. He is the arm that steadies you through grief, the light that warms frozen hearts, and the voice that calls for restitution and repair. His involvement does not guarantee instant reconciliation, but it facilitates righteous pathways, structured accountability, genuine repentance, and measured restoration that protect the vulnerable while allowing real change if it comes. Finally, Michael is a rallying presence. When you feel alone, call for him. You may not hear an audible voice, but you will sense ordered courage, the appearance of helpful people, and a decrease of frantic impulsivity. He steadies leaders, families, and individuals to act with dignity instead of lashing out in pain. He will not do for you what you must do for yourself. Rather, he empowers you to do it rightly. So when the dark truth arrives about one you love, remember, Michael does not remove the necessity of human responsibility. He amplifies your capacity to meet truth with guarded courage. Invoke him for protection, ask for discernment, and trust that his division is meant to free, not to annihilate. In the crucible of revelation, Michael stands as both sword and shelter, cutting what must be cut and holding what can yet be kept. Beloved, you have walked through the sounding of the trumpet, the warning of tears, the unveiling of hidden truths, and the steps of preparation. Now hear this final blessing. The night does not last forever. The darkness you fear is only the backdrop against which the light will shine brighter. What is being revealed is not for your destruction but for your liberation. What shakes you now is what will set you free tomorrow. Archangel Michael, the captain of heaven's armies, stands beside you still, shield raised, sword drawn, and voice steady. He whispers strength into your weary spirit. Stand. Do not collapse. What was meant for your harm will turn into your testimony. You are not abandoned. You are fortified. Lift your eyes beyond the shadows. Choose courage over despair, truth over illusion, faith over fear. Even as tears fall, know they water the soil of your new beginning. The dark truth, once revealed, loses its power to haunt you. Step forward now, clothed in the armor of light. You are guarded, you are chosen, and you are stronger than you realize. Go in peace, and let the dawn rise over your life.